Hey everyone, let's start today with some great news. My song Save the Day just reached 10,000 plays on Spotify. Very recently just released on Lost Frequencies label. It's amazing, especially for a club song. And there are unfortunately also bad news. Right here on my MacBook, I got a song. It's called Ashes. I started it 1.5 years ago. We already did like a remix contest for it. And the original version is still not finished and not released. And it's all just down to the mix down. I did it already a couple of times. That's the challenge today. Doing it again and hopefully getting it to a state where I'm just happy and satisfied with it. Because like I love the song. I think it has potential. It's a little strange. It's a little different. It's not really club music. It's not really radio music. It's somewhere in between, which also makes it hard to find a label. I will probably release it on my own label. Speaking of my own label, there's some big news, but that's for the very end of the video. Challenge today, I bounced out all of the tracks as audio. They're in Logic, and I will go through every individual track, improve it as much as possible, mix all of them together, and once I'm done, share with you what I've actually done and the before and after. So, wish me luck. First of all, the big screen, I had to use it again. I don't know, whenever I'm sitting here and doing creative stuff, I like just to work on my MacBook, really small, tiny, and just like listen. When I mix, I just need it there, because this way I look onto the screen, my ears, everything is up, I can hear better. It's actually also better for my back, maybe even better for my eyes, I don't know. But yeah, I worked on the song now for 1.5 hours. Most of the time was just listening, then thinking what needs to be improved, then doing it. Let me show you what I did, and then you can judge the before and after and tell me if it's an improvement and if it's ready actually for release. So first of all, whenever I mix, I listen to the song and focus 100% on the kick. And here in the old version, let's listen to that one really quick. The kick is there, but it's not punching through. I can't really hear it. I like to have like a kick that sounds like it's sitting there on its own, right in the pocket of the entire song. So I first up went to the original kick that I made and selected in the previous song. I cut it away the low frequencies. I got rid of something muddy and nasty between 300 and 400 hertz. I shaped off a little of the top end. It was like too noisy, too clicky. Let's listen to that before and after. Just getting it a little more under control. Actually sounding a little more boring, but for the mix it's actually crucial. Then also Transient Designer. I basically actually crippled the original kick. I left it in there because I wanted like the feel and tone of it, and it works well with the clap and snare, but it just didn't have like the frequencies that I need from a kick. So I actually added a new kick. I sometimes do that in mixing also for other people. I never tell them, I do it in a subtle way. Here, it's just easier to pick a kick that works than fiddling around a kick and try to make it work. If you want to like hide it a little, take usually the low end of a new kick and keep the mid and up section of the frequencies of the old kick, so that for a customer you mix something for them or for yourself, it still has the feel and sound of the old kick, but it's improved by a lot. And I actually pitched down the original kick. It's transposed -4. Because it was just not hitting the right frequency to go well with the bass. Speaking of the bass, let's play it together. The new kick definitely adds that little push that I just was missing. Then the snare and clap, 2 layers. Didn't change a lot about them, just new reverbs, both bus number 5, and I cut away the low frequencies, boosted a little the high, but that's like nothing major. the most important was I lowered them actually by 4 dB. They were way too loud in the other mix. And reverb, Valhalla Vintage Verb, I have like a standard setting that I usually use as a starting point, and then change decay, the high cut and the shape size depending on the sound. Right here I wanted to have like a slightly longer reverb, but make less of it. It feels like it's stopping right before the next kick, so you got like this pumpy kind of feel, just already like from kick and snare. Bassline, I changed, let's see, EQ'd a little. The very low end, just gone. The 200 Hertz, it was something I felt that with the kick, and Andy also listened closely to it, and we were like, yeah, the 200 Hertz makes the kick more embedded in there, but it's very, very subtle. I don't think I could hear it like within the entire mix, the entire song playing, but if you solo kick and bass, it actually makes a difference. Let's hear the before and after. It's kind of carving a little more around the kick, where the kick kind of starts like to fade a little frequency wise. This one pushes in, I don't know, I think it works. The next one is LFO Tool, of course, you can hear the pump. There's also a little click. I smoothed it to get rid of the like very loud click. There's still some in there, but in the mix you can't hear it, so I think it's fine. I just love that pumping. I love it. It's like, it's so electronic dance music, makes it instantly groove a lot more. Then I actually added reverb, which you might not really want to do on a bass, but I felt it needed some space, and I cut away the reverb at 430 Hertz. So just like a top end reverb, and later on in the song the cutoff is opened of the bass line, and then you hear even more reverb. So it doesn't muddy up the low end, but there is still some room when needed. The next element, just like stabs, plucks, something like a synthie, a really cool sound, actually my favorite in this song. Here, just again, safety, low cut, nothing fancy. LFO Tool as well, just because I wanted to hear like the initial click of the kick a little more. So I carved out like a tiny bit so that you don't hear it pumping, so you still hear the attack of it. It's just like gone for that initial moment where the kick has like the transient. Then, yeah, a little bit of reverb. Also here, Valhalla Vintage Verb on another bus, so I can set it differently, bigger, high cut, like taking away some of the high frequencies to keep like a darker vibe to this kind of sound. Then we got the first vocal bit, I think, yeah. A little bit of call and response. The entire drop is actually call and response. Every single element is bouncing with another element back and forth. The vocal safety low cut, and I added some OTT. OTT is like kind of a little cheating. It pushes frequencies like in this modern kind of area of frequencies, like more the mids, the upper kind of frequencies. It pushes it, makes everything really loud and compressed. But yeah, it made it like pop a little more. I like that vocal bit. I wanted it to pop a little more. So let's listen to it with and without. Just a tiny bit. I don't know. It sounds like someone polished it. It's good. Don't overdo it. Don't use it on everything. But if something is like buried in the mix and you want it to pop, just some OTT. Then we got the vocal. It's a vocal group. As I said, like I already made this entire song on another project, but like I was too confused, and sometimes I just bounce it out to just have like the mixing in front of me. That's maybe a tip if you're struggling with mixing, bounce it out. If you're someone that goes back and forth, changes chords, changes sound, bounce it out. If you're happy with it, bounce it out and just take care of the mixing. So the vocal group has a bunch of stuff in there. I actually had to cut the vocal group, but let's first listen to it.
We're lost in the ashes.
top vocal, harmony, a vocoder, a lower kind of bass kind of sound in there. Just again here, reverb, a de-esser, and that's also the reason why I had to split the grouped up vocal. The de-esser, of course, just taking care of the S sounds. They were popping a little too harsh. We're lost in the ashes. And the last one was so hard, the de-esser didn't help, so I had to automate it, volume automate it. Yeah, definitely too much. The de-esser helps a little. And then for the really hard ones, you just have to go in there. If you set the de-esser stronger, it picks up all the other S's too harsh, and then it sounds strange and weird, and no, it's just like awkward. Then I split it up because the verses, the pre-choruses, like everything that wasn't on the drop needed less de-essing. So I split it up so I could have like 2 settings. It's the lazy way. More vocals, this one right here, also call and response. Also here, same as on the other vocal snippet, a tiny bit of OTT, 16%, same reverb, safety low cut. A little vocal kind of chop sample. I sample delayed it, which makes it extremely wide in the mix. And actually now listening to it, I think it could use some sidechaining, maybe even a little more. Yeah, so it doesn't interfere with the kick too much. And then it can actually be raised a little. That's also the trick of sidechaining. Like for example, the bass, if you sidechain it, and it doesn't interfere with the kick anymore because it's not really playing at the same time, you can increase the volume of the bass a little. And then the main sound, where I didn't change a whole lot. It's just like a very pluck sound. Reverb effects, like it's kind of a pumping reverb. And the second track where I did, I think with Effectrix or something like that, I did like glitch effects, bounce it out, put it underneath. That's kind of the subtle track that makes a song sound more finished. And that's basically it. Like, what do we got? Like 23 tracks. Again, some of them are like put in groups. For example, the vocals are actually 5 or 6 additional. But that's all I got going on in the drop. So let's listen to the entire thing. Lost in the ashes. Sounds alright. I think this is quite close to being able to release it. On the master, just also covered, but the master, I will remove it. Someone else will master it. I master for other people. I mix for other people. If you're interested, down below in the description is an email. But my own songs, since I already make them, mix them, mastering them, it's just like a safety thing. So to have someone else actually double check it. Because if you do everything yourself, mistakes are in there 100%. You just, after weeks and weeks working on a song, you don't hear everything anymore. Other people hear it like instantly. So yeah, on the master, just a bus compressor, gain reduction 1 or 2 dB, Pro L to limit it, span just every once in a while to check in their frequencies, check the loudness. But that's then really it. I actually forgot one more thing. The drums are bussed in a group, and that entire bus has a standard clip on there. Lost in the ashes. It's just cutting like some of the peaks of the kick and the snare and the clap in there, because they're just jumping out too much. But if you lower them in volume, it's not the same thing. Sometimes you need things to be loud in there, but not like be so jumpy, so transient heavy. So this one just chops it off, makes everything a little more like subtle, buried more in the mix, and you can do everything again a little louder. Yeah, I think this covers basically everything. Let's listen to the before and after. Let's see if you hear the improvement. Probably not on a phone. Headphones, speakers, you should be able to hear it. So let's do the old version before. I try to volume match them as much as possible. Actually, listening to the before and after, I think on the new version, the pluck can be like a dB, maybe louder. I think it's like the main sound can pop a little more. But overall, I think you can hear like the push of the new kick, that the kick sits at the right frequency spot, that the bass is around, that the sidechaining, the reverbs, everything sounds a little more like polished, a little more in order, a little less cluttered, a little less muffled. And yeah, also now I can actually push it on the master a little louder since everything is like working together. Maybe I can improve it even a little more, but I think for today, for now, it's enough. My ears are a little tired. Mixing usually just like 2-3 hours and then do something else and then maybe another day mixing again, especially when it's like the last final mixing of a song. So yeah, let me know if you hear the improvement. Let me know if you got any questions, just leave them down below in the comments. And that's pretty much it. The song right here is the very last one that will be released on my label Accents. We're actually kind of closing it down. I mean, we'll still leave all of the old tracks up there, but I started a new label called Voodoo Music, and we have a bunch of releases planned. Again, focus more on club music. I don't know, I just feel like club music at the moment, so I'll push it. If anyone is interested to submit a demo, club music only, it's also linked down below in the description. Can't wait to listen to all of these songs, hopefully sign some of them, release them on my label. And tomorrow, back here in the studio, working on more music.